Hey there. So, in this section of the course, I'm really going to be talking a lot about what mental health looks like currently, and it's not a pretty picture. And so, I'm going to be sharing some statistics and some symptoms, and I really want your focus to be on what does this have to do with me and the people around me. And so, within these statistics, a lot of it has to do with numbers. And so thinking through, like, in your circle of friends or in your organization where you work or go to church or, whatever groups you're involved in, realize how important this is to understand and be able to support the people around you just by being a listening ear. And if it has something to do with you, which most likely somebody pretty close to you, if not yourself, you are dealing with this. And so it's really just hopefully helping you to know that you're not alone in this. So I'm going to share some things about myself later, but just thinking through, I did tell you that I was a teacher for several years. And so during that time, of course, that was something that came up quite a bit. If it wasn't students in my classroom or members of their family or teachers that I worked with or family members of teachers that I worked with, none of this is new because I've been dealing with it my whole life. And then since getting out of education and working on my doctorate, people that I worked with then, the stress of, working hard to get your doctorate, it's a lot of work doing that research. And so most people that were in the program with me really struggled in some of these ways for different reasons. And then after that, I worked briefly at a church. And so, that process also, there were so many people that are just looking for ways out of the things that they're going through. And currently, I'm working part-time as a mental health crisis clinician. And so, of course, that is my main focus, is helping them to normalize what they're going through as far as it's not their fault, but there are ways to support themselves rather than some of the things that are going on in their minds. So with that being said, I am going to read some of the statistics. These are also in your book, but just thinking through, how does this relate to you and how does this relate to people around you or that you work with or live with or love? And so greater than 3/4 of adults have symptoms of stress. 80% report having stress due to their jobs. 49% have negative effects from stress. We'll talk about those in a little bit. 1 in 5 people have a decline in their mental health. 1 in 20 report serious mental illness. That means there might be hospitalization involved or some, inpatient, outpatient kind of things. And then where my heart goes, of course, is to children's mental health. And this has become such an epidemic. It's just so scary. If you have children or if you are a child, just know we are there. We are trying very hard to help you through this. 17% of youth report stress. They think that will be 50% by the time children are 14 and 75% by the time they are 24, which about makes sense, as I had stated that 3/4 of adults have symptoms of stress. So meaning they have less stress the younger they are generally, and the older they get, the more stress there is involved. And of course, none of this even deals with trauma, which is a completely separate thing. Saddest part of this is that suicide is the second leading cause of death in ages 10 to 14. And so this stuff is real. It's important, and it's real for us to realize that we need to do something about it. As far as symptoms of anxiety and stress, these are also listed for you, and these might be things that you've gone through once in a while, or these may be things that you fight daily or people that you know. And so feeling easily frustrated, agitated, overwhelmed, having trouble keeping your mind quiet, lots of negative feelings, lots of sadness, avoiding other people. And these things can cause physical symptoms like aches, pains, problems with your heart, problems with sleep, headaches, dizziness, muscle tension, and stomach aches. I'm going to hit this real close to home right now for myself. I had stomach aches from the time I was tiny. Now I know it's because of feelings of stress. And so I will get into that in a little bit. But I am saying that these things are a problem. What I'm not saying is that because you have any of these symptoms, it means that that's where you're at. Because I don't ever want it to be like, if you're having trouble with your heart, it's just stress. I'm not saying that in any way. That's where it's really important to talk to your healthcare providers about these kinds of things, and talk to your family about these kinds of things as well. It is by no means me saying I know more than other people about this, but these are real, true problems that come from stress and anxiety. And so it's important to look for those connections, like I said earlier, and just to know where you're coming from. All of these things written down in a journal is a great way to start just looking for some different patterns that are happening in your life.